I mean, you can complain about the subplots. I accept that.
But I draw the line
at horrid writing and the fact that Adam's abuse is poorly written. Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Obviously Queer with me, Katya. And today I thought we would be doing those kind of like reacting to 1-star reviews of my favorite books, but it's just the Raven Cycle. So this will be a very spoiler-filled video. If you haven't read the books, I wouldn't recommend you to watch this video, but that's your issue. I love the Raven Cycle more than any other series of books that I've ever read. I've become extremely obsessed with it. With that said, I don't think that they are perfect books. I can see that they have flaws. The Raven Boys, the only critique I can think about forehand, because I haven't read these reviews before, but what I would say maybe is negative, maybe that Blue is a bit "I'm not like other girls" character. The majority has rated 5 stars. But 2% has rated 1 star. Have you ever read a book that left you dumbfounded, filled you with emotion, made you scared for the characters, and were left screaming, "What's gonna happen next?" Raven Boys was not that kind of book. The first half is slow, where the plot seems to revolve on the actual mystery of whether or not Gansey was Blue true love. The plot focus changes completely. It revolves around Gansey and his quest to find the long-lost Welsh king. Yeah, this is the plot of the book. This wouldn't have bothered me so much if I actually understood what was going on. This is another thing I hear constantly within the fandom. There's a lot of jokes about like, no one can say what the Raven Cycle is about. And I understand the point of those jokes. It's a story with a lot of subplots, but I don't think that the plot is hard to keep up with. I mean, if people don't understand what's happening, I do think they can take a course in like reading comprehension. It's not that hard. When it was revealed that Noah is dead, all the characters were scared and panicked, and I was just sitting there wondering, who on the earth is Noah? This is good fucking writing. The whole point of Noah's character is that he is forgettable. There was a quiz going around a while back with like difficult questions.
difficult questions
About the Raven Cycle, and one of the questions was just to say which scenes Noah had or had not been present in. And not even Maggie Stiefvater could the answers, because Noah is that forgettable, and it's so heart-wrecking when you get there and like why that is. Okay, and here it actually says that Blue is not a typical YA protagonist. That was the only thing I thought it was going to be about. And then I gave up after a few chapters. I really did try. Did you though, if you gave up after a few chapters? That was the worst try I even heard of in my life. Just rename this the Raven Fuckboys. That's really good though. Yeah, and again, this is a story about Blue Sargent, a girl who will kill her true love. No, it's not. It's really the story of Dick Gansey. It's a character piece about the boys, their personal conflicts, and their development / friendship romance with Blue. Yeah, that's what the book is about. This book has a million subplots, all equally undeveloped. I don't think that's true. I mean, it has a million subplots, but they are kind of developed. Oh, this is actually interesting. Adam is physically abused by his dad, and I'm sorry, but you can't give abuse this treatment. It's a serious issue, but in the book it shows up twice. Once to establishes, and the second time near the book where Adam just leaves his abuser. Adam goes from "I won't leave because pride and the alternative is better" to "okay, bye." That was like not what happened at all. Adam's trauma from his abusive upbringing and abusive childhood, how that impacts his entire character, how his fear of becoming like his dad, his fear of not being able to become his own person, that is so present in the book. It's present in Adam's character, it's present in how other people treat Adam. It shows up twice. No, it shows up all the time. It's there, under the surface, all the time. This is my favorite thing with the Raven Cycle. It treats class, poverty, sexuality, mental illness, and chronic illness. I mean, that's what the book is about. It's not like it's 3 pages of like, this is why Adam is affected by his abuse. It's there all the time, and he's working so hard with it. And Adam's character growth from I can't leave to I've accepted that I left my dad in the last book. Oh, I mean, Maggie's writing is the best. I mean, you can complain about the subplots. I accept that.
But I draw the line
At horrid writing and the fact that Adam's abuse is poorly written. Oh, here it is! Blue is special. She's not like other girls. I mean, it's true. I think it's a little dull that Blue is, for me, the most boring character when she's the only girl main character. Like, I think it's proven that Maggie can write really good female characters. I don't think Blue is, but it doesn't bother me because the boys are so good. 150 pages is devoted to the build-up of Blue becoming insta-friends with a group of 4 boys. There is no sexual competition, no weirdness, nor resentment. The Blue just crashed the party and joined the group. Did you read the same book? This I think is strange too, because I think Ronan's jealousy is very, very present. There's so much weirdness and there's a lot of sexual competition. They're very flawed. Let's go over to the Dream Thief. And everyone who knows me and who's watched like one video on this channel before knows that the Dream Thieves is maybe my favorite book of all time. I don't think the Raven Boys is perfect. I don't think the Raven Cycle is perfect, but I do think that the Dream Thieves is perfect. Does every single character have to be weird? I want to see a normal kid in this series instead of a teenage boy who wants to know the exact meaning of life. I hate Adam. Every fictional character that has the name Adam are usually annoying as hell. The 39% of what I read in the second book should have been in the first book. Actually, The Dream Thieves was the first book that Maggie wrote. And I think when you know this, I think the rules of the magic with the dreaming and everyone's relationship, I think it just kind of makes sense. You're like, it was always supposed to be about Ronan's dreaming. She's just character building all the time.
That's correct.
What the heck is wrong with the YI genre? Why must they add adult content to every novel published? I mean, the Dream Thieves is quite destructive. Okay, this person is obsessed because they say fuck. Well, I sure hope this person isn't watching my channel. Seems Christian to me. The 5 main characters split up for the entirety of the book. I didn't like seeing them apart because I love the chemistry of all of them together. Have you read a series before? Of course there's gonna be drama. Like something has to be resolved during the course of the book. Why didn't they sit at Nino's having a good time all the time? That would be extremely uninteresting. I was really irritated with the constant mention of Joseph Kavinsky in the first half of the book. He played absolutely no role in the entire first half of the book, and yet he was brought up regularly. That's how you introduce a character, I think. I also had very little interest in the Greyman chapters. Oh, that's true, it's Greyman in this book. One of my hot takes in the fandom, I feel, is that I don't like the Greyman. I mean, being a hitman is going to fuck up your empathy, your connection to other people, your relationship to violence. I mean, there's so many red flags in a guy that killed other men for a living that, like, for him to be like,
but I have a favorite band and I had a tough childhood.
and then people are like,
Okay, come in for tea then.
and I think I feel stronger for the forgiveness of the Greyman because I don't think he's interesting as a character. I think he is a concept of a character. He's not a person. He doesn't have a personality. He doesn't have depth. He's just bland, and then on top of it, he killed Ronan's dad, and he does so without consequence. Blue and Gansey, the people that I'm actually interested, were faded. Adam became extremely whiny, which was both pathetic and irritating, and also an effect of his trauma.
Oh no, that's wrong.
Really? Grey man with grey eyes wearing a grey shirt? Really? Yeah, well, this I agree with. She attracted him like a heart attack. What does that even mean? Blah. I give up. Actually, the quote is, he was attracted to her like a heart attack. It's a wonderful quote, I think. I think it's beautiful. Struggling to understand how there's anything even remotely interesting about Adam. I mean, I think the beauty of Adam's character is that he is an unlikable character. Especially in the second book, he's struggling a lot with toxic masculinity. He makes himself a victim all the time. He's so proud. He's terrible to be around. I think his character shows that as an effect of poverty and abuse, you can evolve into, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Absolutely. What doesn't kill you often also makes you a less likable person, and that's the truth. And you have to be aware of the traits in your personality that are just defense mechanisms but aren't really defending you in any way. It just makes you an asshole. Adam is a great example of this.
It shows up all the time.
But it is interesting because when the first and the second book came, people fucking hated Adam, and now Adam is the fandom favorite. Now it's the other way around. People are struggling to understand how Adam is not a perfect character. But the perfectness of Adam's character is that he's so unperfect. I fucking hated the writing. I'm one of those snobs that places a lot of value on the writing of a book. I don't think that makes you a snob, I just think that makes you a normal reader. I'm sorry, you're not special. People said the writing style of this book was amazing. It is. And you know what? After reading 2 books in this series, I realized Steve Waller should have stuck with simplistic writing. The author is trying too hard. It reminds me of the writing books, like I'll give you the sun. I fucking love that book. As hungry as the night, Gans's gansiness, and the inside of the old Chimera smell like asphalt and desire, gasoline and dreams. I think those are 3 really good quotes. I think they're so great quotes. It doesn't make for a purple prose, it makes for lazy writing. No, it's great fucking writing. I love Maggie's writing. I love those quotes. It's so good. How many times do I have to hear that? Blue Sergeant was this. Richard Gansey III never did this. The Raven Boys are this. How do you about you show me all these things instead of beating me in the head with them? This is another very Maggie thing. Like, she writes like this all the time, and this is one of my favorite things with her. She shows things constantly all the time with very, very small measurements, and then on top of it sometimes she also tells it exactly like it is, and that becomes very powerful. It feels like a trick of the writing. Richard Gansey was blah 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 blah, and then maybe 5 pages later she shows all the ways that like he isn't, or maybe we see him from another character's point of view and they describe him through his actions in a completely different way, and it creates for me, I think, an extremely content-filled, effectful way of creating a world and creating a character. So many adverbs. Oh, finally! Kavinsky is all that I cared about. How do you kill off a queer-coded, mentally ill, abused teenager in the most public and horrible way possible, and still people eat up your shitty ass books? Like, the Kavinsky discourse, I'm not gonna get into it too much on this channel. The point of his character was that he was gonna guide Ronan and be there for Ronan as a side character when Ronan was figuring out his sexuality and figuring out his dreaming. He was the villain of this story. He killed his father, he killed his best friend, he drugged Ronan and then touched Ronan sexually when Ronan was passed out. He was a sexist piece of shit to Blue. The list goes on. Of course, he would have needed help and better things and growth and rehab, but I feel that people have gotten like a hang up on Kavinsky deserving better because they shipped him with Ronan, and I think people overlooked the flaws of Kavinsky and the destructive, terrible things of Kavinsky because they thought that the Rovinsky scenes were hot. If he was the only queer mentally ill character and they killed him off, that would be terrible. But there are several queer mentally ill characters in the Raven cycle that grow and get like better things. Okay, I just have to finish here. I'll record and upload part 2 pretty soon, hopefully. If you like this, please subscribe. And also, as you know, the 3rd and last installment of the Dreamer trilogy is coming out in fall this year, and I will do a reread of all 6 books leading up to that one. If you are new to my channel, or if you are one of my 20 subscribers, it will be a lot of Raven Cycle content going forward. So yeah, that was it. This became such a project that I had a lot of fun. I'll see you around eventually.